Okay, I just have an old canvas I grabbed here, an old painting by a former student. So I've got my paint ready to go, mixed up, and I'm going to start with light color in the center. And I'm just going to start spreading that around. X pattern, X pattern, X pattern. Now you're going to be painting over a white canvas, so you should have a little bit better coverage than me over top of this blue canvas. So you don't want a perfect, circle. It's going to be more of an oval. Oh boy. I have enough paint here, just enough probably. Spread that out. And you want to notice I'm using my big brush. You want to work quickly. Get that spread out. On the edges, go towards those corners a little bit more maybe. Or towards the edges a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to grab maybe a quick wash of my brush to get rid of some of the excess light color. Now I'm going to grab straight burnt umber. And you can see there was still a little bit left on my brush, the light color. And I'm just going to go in and put that in all the corners to start. Okay, spread it along the ends, or along the top and along the sides. Okay, make sure I filled that in right to the corners. Okay, and now we start the blending process. So that seam in between okay, we just kind of X pattern over that, work your way in, work your way out. I'm just going to start to get these. I'm not going to worry about it initially. I just want to get them started blending. So I'm just doing kind of little X patterns just to start the blending process before my paint dries. Okay, there we go, and I'm kind of working my way all the way around. Don't work one corner too much. Okay, now the paint has really started to tack up. Okay, I can work my way in towards the dark area and then work my way back. And notice my brush, I just keep going back and forth, back and forth. That X pattern or figure eight or whatever you want to call it. And it doesn't have to be super dark in the corners. But the more that paint tacks up, the softer, the more you'll be able to kind of get that softer blending. Sometimes you might have to push a little bit harder if the paint starts to tack up on you, just to get it to blend. But that's generally what you're going for. Okay, and just keep softening. It doesn't, and it can be a little painterly. It can have swirls to it a little bit. That's no big deal. But it doesn't have to be perfect like airbrush. In fact, having that little bit of painterly quality to it, your brush strokes sort of showing, adds a little bit of character to it. So, and if you feel you need to go in and out a little bit like that, to get one area to blend into another, you can do that. Like if you don't like how even it is, like maybe I'll pull a little bit more of that down into here, and then spread it, that way. Even this up, back and forth. Whatever you need to do, push, pull. But you just don't want to go around. A lot of people tend to want to go around in a circle like this. Don't do that. Don't paint around in a circle. Try to get it. You constantly want to be doing that X pattern or figure eight, whatever you want to call it, to get that blending. touch this up a little bit. I got some wet paint in here. I want to expand into this corner up here a little bit. Maybe expand this over here. Grab some of this lighter paint that was in the center, or you can grab some out of your palette too if you have it. Grab some of my darker color here. I still got a little bit in my palette. Blend that in. A little touch here, a little touch there. Blend it. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, because keep in mind too that a lot of it's going to be covered by your still life, but you do want that even blending. I mean, fairly even, you know, blending. You don't want it, again, you don't want it cut off. That there should be this semi-gradual transition, this gradient, you know, from dark to light. You just don't want it to look like an eye in the center of your canvas where you've painted around, going like that.